All right. So last time we
Hold on a second.
Did you hear about the iPhone 6 prototype that's selling for $100,000 on eBay?
I did not.
Yeah, somebody
Does
they
that, like-
got it from Verizon. Verizon sent it to them, and it's the prototype. It's got it doesn't have iOS or iOS 8 or anything on it.
Like Verizon accidentally sent it to them?
Yeah.
Like they ordered a new iPhone and they shipped them a prototype?
It's got 199 bids on it right now. So
Okay.
It's up to $100,000.
Yeah, it'll get pulled. There's no way that's going to finish. That is funny. But does it look like a normal iPhone?
Basically, it's got over the lightning port, it's red around it instead, and it's got developer tools on it and stuff.
Okay.
So it's, I don't know. So I saw it on Reddit.
See, a funny pro Android version would be if somebody goes up and has like a I don't know, Galaxy S5 or something like that, or Galaxy Note, and puts it up there as a prototype 6 Plus. I bought this at the Sprint store.
And it's got free shipping.
Free shipping? We should bid. Yeah, I don't envision that staying up very long.
Why not?
Apple will have them pull that down.
Yeah. It's on Reddit.
Yeah, it either isn't really a prototype, or if it is a prototype, no way Apple's not getting that back. So anyways, shut up! All right, so last time, the last part that we did here is we needed to figure out, we wrote this little chart last time that kind of showed what we're doing, and even though there's more bubbles down here, the idea is even at retail, we are saving people money, right? Even at Coinbase's retail, as long as we can convince a store to actually utilize our tool. Now, long term, the idea would be that we can go to Coinbase and say, look, we want to use you as our platform for making these purchases and make this easy for stores. Will you play ball and reduce this rate? Something like that. Chances are they probably would. So, and by the way, since it was brought to my attention at the end of last class that people could buy $50,000 worth of Bitcoin using my account, seeing as though I've published my private key, I'm disabling it at the end of each class. Let me just, I'm not kidding. It's right here. One of these screens, I have my key somewhere.
So what you're saying is that we have to get it done
During class. If you want to buy $50,000, yeah, see, it's right now, I have it disabled. I should probably create a new key. It doesn't allow buys.
Can you take that one and remove the ability to buy?
I don't know. Can you edit it? Two-step verification.
You gotta send it first. Yeah, send it.
No, it comes right on this.
Give it a
Yeah, see, it either uses Authy or you can send an SMS. Oh, looks like I can remove stuff. All right, we'll let them do balance. We'll let them create addresses. We're not going to need buttons for ours. So that's the one we need to leave on unchecked right now. We're not gonna actually do buys. Don't want to do sells.
Didn't you say we were going to do buys today?
Yeah. All right, screw this. Just gonna leave it. Enable. Verification. Everybody comes to class, they have their program written.
It's the email one.
It's the who?
It's the email one.
Oh, that's stupid.
You have to know everything. You are going to want to pull it up on your computer.
Oh, it was the crazy.
Yeah.
Huh?
It went back up now.
It's way back up today.
Yeah.
way
Well,
down.
it went down today, then it went back up
Well,
later today.
It was down well below 300 yesterday. Now it's like 340 or something.
See, I still feel like under 400 is way down.
Well, it is. But it's been going down.
Yeah.
Okay. So in any case, my account is currently available to make $50,000 worth of Bitcoin purchases. Just full disclosure. In any case, what we did at the end of class last time is we were going into, here's Driver, and we wrote a little tool on Driver where we got our exchange rates, parsed it, we decided how many US dollars are we trying to convert. Then we did the US dollars to Bitcoin. We wrote a little function inside of our parser called getValueForVar. So here's our parser. GetValueForVar took a var name as a parameter. What we passed this guy was that we wanted US dollars to Bitcoin. We wanted that conversion rate as of right now. And then we printed out what the current US dollar value, or so many US dollars, in this case our example is 427, is how many Bitcoins based on the current price right now. And that gets us something like that. And if you want to see, just for the sake of it'll tell us the current price just to show that on the screen. Ruh-roh. Well, that's what one US dollar buys right now, right? That's that conversion rate. 1 US dollar gives us that. So actually we need to do, I'll just grab another variable. BTC to US dollars. Just so we can show what the current cost of a Bitcoin is. There's 333.92, blah, blah, blah. All right, so if we wanted to buy something that was $4.27 right now, we would need to purchase 0.0128 Bitcoins, and that's at a rate of $330.92 per Bitcoin, the current buy rate. This is all through Coinbase, rather than pulling this value from someplace else. Okay, so this is Coinbase's sell price right now. All right, so we would need to buy this many Bitcoins, and then what are we going to do with that many Bitcoins? We need to send them somewhere. Okay, now let's do the send first, because that's going to show us how the API actually works. So to send money, and it's actually interesting, within the, it's a post request inside of Coinbase's API under their transactions section called send money, and they actually have a variable called instant buy. And that variable set up where you can say, I want to send this many Bitcoins to somebody, so to a Bitcoin address. And you can specify instant buy is true if you wanted to go ahead and purchase that many Bitcoins if you don't have enough. So we can kind of get both of those steps done in a single process. But for starters, let's just send an amount of Bitcoins that I have enough for, which is not tons, but I have some in here, right? 0.0003. So why don't we send 0001 Bitcoin somewhere? Okay. See, it's worth, I have 10 cents worth of Bitcoins right now. Epic. All right. So we're going to send 3 cents to somebody. Now, in this documentation, we're going to set our URL to this guy. So that's api.coinbase.com/v1/transaction/send money. But now we need to provide it with a body. Remember when we were going through this before, we had that body variable that we used to calculate our signature, and we set it to null initially. Now we actually have to build a JSON message for our body. You see that now? Okay, so we're going to have to build something that looks like this. That is opening curly brace, the word transaction, colon, opening curly brace. 2, this can be an email address or a Bitcoin address. We're going to send it to a Bitcoin address. The amount we're going to send in Bitcoin, and then optionally we can have a notes category. I'm not positive whether notes is required here. I just know it can be empty. Okay? So at the very least, we need to send it that body. That we're doing a transaction, who we're sending it to, how much we're sending, and we can quickly do a note. We can say payment for so much in goods or something like that. All right, so we need to start off by building this string before we do anything else. All right, and this is just, using Java to put together a string. So from our perspective, everything from here to here is stock, correct? It's always going to look the same for every single transaction. Right here, who we're sending this to, that's going to change depending on who we're sending this to. So I'm going to put in the Bitcoin address for my CEX account. So we'll bounce stuff back and forth between those two accounts right now, okay? So let me grab this for right now. Actually, before we do that, let me come in here. We'll create a couple of variables. So the to address, that's where we're going to send it to. This is going to be our Bitcoin address that we're sending this to. I'm going to go into my CEX account. Oh, look at that. Gigahashes to US dollars is almost back to $1. Epic.
How many gigahashes are you running right now?
Just about 2 terahashes. Should be at $2. Or actually, it should be at $3, but $2 we would call reasonable. All right, so I need to get my address. Go to fund account. Zoom out here a little bit. All right, so I want to deposit something into my Bitcoin. So I'll do deposit. And here is my Bitcoin address. So if any of you would like to send me Bitcoin, send it to this address. See, this little thing works both ways. So all right, so for my address, that's the address we're going to send this to. So this is our merchant. This is the merchant that's going to receive payment. They're going to receive payment at that address. All right, how much are we going to send? We're going to send this value right there, correct? So we can say double BTC to send is equal to that, which then allows us to replace this with BTC to send. All right, so I just created another variable here, and that's going to be the number of Bitcoins we're actually going to use to send this amount of US dollars. Okay? So that's how much we're going to send. This is where we're going to send it. And we'll go ahead and we'll say string note is equal to payment for this number of US dollars purchase. Make sense? So there are some variables that we're going to use for this. If we go back to the API reference here, Who we're sending it to, we have that. The amount we're sending, we have that. And we also have our note. So we have those 3 variables. Now we need to build this string. Okay? So I'm going to start off, we're going to copy that entire string. We're going to bring this into here. We'll call this guy the body. I'm going to squeeze all this onto one line for right now. Okay, now we currently have some issues. That issue is that double quotes represent closing a string in Java, right? Well, we actually need these double quotes to be part of the string. So we're going to have to use the escape character to do this. So this guy's going to be a string. We're going to escape this guy. This says treat that as the char double quote, not as the double quote ending a string. All right, followed by transaction, escape that. Followed by curly brace, escape that, escape that. Now here, where did we go? Oh, here we go. Right here, we actually want to put our Bitcoin address in there, right? But we want this to be generic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to escape this and then actually end the string. And I'm going to concatenate onto that my to address. Then I'm going to concatenate onto that beginning of a string, escape. And let me kick this down some lines. I think I can do it like this. This will work. All right, so this right here, everything I have highlighted right here is one big long string with all the double quotes that I want to be treated as the character double quotes escaped. So this won't actually store backslash double quote. This will just store a double quote. Make sense? Backslash double quote lets the Java compiler know, don't treat this as the end of the string. All right, so this whole thing right here is going to be a nice string, ending with a double quote right there, which is the beginning of this right there. That's what that string ended with. Now I'm going to concatenate onto that the actual Bitcoin address I'm sending this. And I have that stored inside of a variable called toAddress. I'm going to concatenate onto that a new string that starts off with a double quote. Right there. That's the double quote I just concatenated on. Followed by comma, followed by amount. So there's the comma, backslash amount. So we're going to backslash both of those double quotes. Colon, backslash this guy. Now, this is my BTT to send variable. All right, so we're going to take that out, and we're going to concatenate on something. We'll kick it down a line. This is BTT, BTC to send, concatenated with a new string that starts off with a double quote. Make sense? So same exact thing again. So amount, this is surrounded by double quotes, colon, start with a double quote, then concatenate on the amount of Bitcoins we're going to send, concatenated with a new string whose first character is a double quote. Then we're going to escape that double quote, escape that double quote, escape that double quote, end our string, concatenate onto that, kick it down a line. Note. Concatenate onto that a new string, which starts off with a double quote, close curly brace, end string. That makes sense? So the body is this big long string we just created here. And if we go ahead and print that out, we get transaction to, here's the address we're sending it to, the amount we're sending, here's the number of Bitcoins, notes, here's our note. Make sense? And that looks legit, looks like proper JSON. It looks like this JSON, just not split into different lines. Okay? So now we have our body. So we're going to go back to our here's our get HTTP. Get HTTP takes the URL we're sending this to as well as the body that we're sending. And we just built that body. That makes sense? So we have some code up here that we used for that before. This guy right here. So I'll steal that for right now. The address we're going to send this to is not the balance address. The address we're going to send this guy to is the send money address. Oh, and that's surrounded by... So this address right there, but the body we're going to send it is not null. The body we're going to send it is our variable that we just wrote called the body. Okay? And that's what we're going to send to get HTTP.
You have duplicate JSON strings.
There we go. Now, is this guy doing a get or a post? Yeah, if body is null or the length is 0, then do a get. Otherwise, we're going to do a post. So we're good here. Okay, so we can only send a body along with a post. So this guy should be set. So this will automatically do a post. We're sending it to this URL. We're passing it this body. We're going to print out the result it gets back to us. That was just a really bad programming there. And the answer. Okay. Now, actually, let's start off with doing it this way, because I don't have $4.27 worth of Bitcoin in my account, correct? So we should get an answer. We should get an error here. So we'll go ahead and send this one. And it should yell at us. False. Not success. Errors. Required parameter missing. Transaction. Okay, we had bad code then. Did we? Well, we at least gave us an answer back. It said required parameter missing transaction. Here's our transaction, colon.
Possible that transaction needs to be something else.
It should look just like this. Let's see if that's just the generic error message they give you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my Coinbase real quick. So I can send 0.0001. I can afford that. So let's try sending that.
Change BTC to send.
Who?
Up.
Up.
One more.
Oh, you're just confusing me. I get what you're saying. I was looking for the variable. I thought you found another error down here.
Oh no.
Okay, so I should be able to afford that. Hey. Okay, still was not happy. So require parameter missing transaction. Let's look at the documentation again here. Do we need to send anything else other than the body? Oh, the transaction object containing the params. Well, no, it's hashing the body, isn't it?
Says it has to be greater than 0.01.
Oh, well, but we still got that same error when I tried to put in the bigger dollar amount. So here, just for the sake of argument, let's go ahead, and I think somewhere in here they use the instant buy equals true. So let's throw that in there. Make sure that's not the problem. Oh, hold on. We're doing bad stuff here. We can go after this one. Comma. Instant buy equals true. So we may actually be spending actual money here, but we'll just see what happens. So let's do $1. Will that be 0.01 or better? $3.30. All right, so we'll try to send $4. We're going to tell it to go ahead and instant buy, and see if this thing works now. It doesn't like that missing transaction thing. All right, so we're definitely giving it a big enough number now. And the error. So go back to this one. We know it'll fail, but that's fine. And we'll set this to false for right now.
Something has to be named transaction.
Huh?
Does something have to be named transaction? 'Cause I know.
Well, it is right here. I mean, it seems to me we're following, the error we're getting is required parameter missing transaction. We have something called transaction right here.
It says the instant buy parameter can be used.
It is in there. That's this last thing we did right here. But and we got the same error message, whether I had that set as true or not. So it's having problems with our the body here. And I think we're printing out, let's just look at the body string we're printing out here. Opening curly brace, the word transaction in double quotes, colon. Opening curly brace, transaction in colon. Followed by an opening curly brace. Followed by 2 colon. Followed by Bitcoin address. Followed by a comma. Followed by amount, colon. And here's the amount we're sending. Oh, it might not be a huge fan of that. I can see that possibly being an issue. Why would that be an issue? Why wouldn't it can just concatenate on that double? So it took that BTT to send, which currently looks like this, and it turned that into the string. This. It doesn't seem right. So let's make this guy a string. Just for right now, we'll just surround it with that. Okay, so that looks legit. So amount, colon, there's the amount we're sending, comma, notes, colon, here's our note, payment for that, comma, instant buy, colon, false, followed by closing.
Does false need to have quotes?
It didn't in the example they had here, and I didn't have false, and I didn't have it in there before.
Well, shouldn't it be true?
Well, it doesn't matter if it's true or false. We're getting the same error. I've tried it with three different things. We can put double quotes around it if we want. I don't think it's going to hurt anything because I don't think that instant buy should be needed.
I think you should be an open curling before the transaction.
There is. And then we have the closing one and the following closing one. There should be 2 closings at the end. This one and this one. And we could put the
We're gonna let you fix those couple things. It wants the bigger than 0.01 again.
you can try it. So let's set this back to true then. And let's just send this 0.02. Yeah, it's still having the exact same issue. Required parameter transaction is missing.
Are we sure it's adding it correctly?
Well, we'd hope so. This was their code. Let's walk through their code for the body here. All right, so if the body was something, then we're going to create an HTTP post, which is fine. We're going to have a new string entity made out of the body. we set some headers. Did we ever? Oh yeah, we're setting that entity to our post.
Do we name it something other than body? Was it named?
Well, it came in as body right here. So the input to this method is body, even though I called it the body up here. When we called the method, we passed it the URL, and we passed it the body.
In the documentation, they say that the body should be hashed.
Yeah, and aren't we doing it though? Right here, when we build the message. So as we're building the message, we have a nonce, the URL. If the body is not equal to null, then concatenate on the body. Otherwise, concatenate on the empty string. So this is our message, and we're turning that into a hashed value.
Okay, but just the signature, not the body itself, and just send. Oh.
You wouldn't want to hash the body though.
Well, he's saying the documentation said we needed to.
But that wouldn't make any sense because then they wouldn't be able to read
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah, this is the URL, and this is the body. This is a request. Man, this guy bought 6 Bitcoins for 62 bucks. Take some of that action. It's weird. Has their API changed? That's where we just were. And the body should all be in JSON, which it is.
Maybe set all the variables just in the body itself, and make sure that your all your variables are actually getting into the body.
Oh, we're printing the body right here.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So I mean, we're able to read.
String representation, yeah.
I mean, it looks correct. We should be getting a different error message. It's acting like it doesn't know about this. Kind of like we're sending that in the wrong format. I guess we can maybe take, I don't know, because it's reading it in as JSON. If we treat this as JSON, this is required for the input. It's going to find one variable in there called transaction, and the value of that variable is a JSON object. This guy. Required parameter missing. Let's Google that. This is not even from it's not even from Coinbase. Let's look at the code again down here. So the body is definitely getting printed, sent in there. Let's just confirm that. So here's the second call to that. Just for right now, I'm going to comment out these because we don't need that to calculate this guy. So we don't need this.
Where's the part of code that the body equals body? I don't know.
Right here, when we're calling the method,
Yeah.
we pass it in here to our method get HTTP. Here's the method, second parameter is body.
Oh, okay.
And when I run this, it prints it. It prints it on both sides right now. I didn't comment out something else it's upset about up here. Let's comment out this line. All right, so those are the two lines right next to each other before and after I call the method. Those look like legit JSON strings. Required parameter missing transaction. We have that parameter, but it's acting like it wants it not as the body, but as like parameter. It's acting like it wants it here. Transaction equals. Let's see how it deals with that. You think?
Probably gonna want it. Closing.
Hopefully took the curly braces off the transaction.
Beginning and end.
Yeah, I know it was.
It's no longer a JSON thing, but we can try it.
Never really even do anything.
Well, it just gave us the same error message. It did take it off the beginning and the end. It's got to be some. Well, it's got to be either something we're missing or their API is broken. Let me just do something here. Here's another example of a post for just requesting a address so we can give them our public key. Let's just test it with this one real quick. Just to make sure that their entire that's this part. And then for the body, we want something that looks like this, but we want our API key to be our actual API key. We'll paste that in a second. Our actual API key is stored here.
Your API key is a lot shorter.
Huh? Yeah, it is.
Third of
Well, I'm guessing it's the correct thing though. They might have just put a weird example in there. Maybe they used to have longer API keys. There's no way they want us to send the secret key. So let's try this with just a public key. And we'll pass the body, and let's see what this gives us. Yeah, that worked. So that method down there works for sending post bodies. Just the post body we created above did not work. So there has to be something wrong with the post body we put together. So I will figure out what's going on with that and show you the fix next class.
Is it, for some reason, when making that hash, is it the backslashes, is that making it weird?
I don't think so because I had it in this one. Yeah, because once it's a string, then it's fine. So yeah, the backslashes aren't being sent in, but it's a decent thought, but they're not being sent in. Is it right there?
Wait, I was wondering what slot that.